Hello and welcome to Gaming. I'm Nick on the side of the comms, of course, Justin. I feel like that completely got scrambled and just blurred together, but we'll work with it. So, big week in gaming, yeah? We have Tokyo Game Show coming out. Like, it's right now, honestly. Like, I think they're still going on. We have at Xbox's showcase, which I have not seen. Saw some things, but not all of it. We had PlayStation that kind of did their own thing, PSN State of Play, that led into it. Capcom did their thing. I don't know if anyone else has done their thing yet, but yeah, a bunch of stuff is coming out. So, how we're going to approach this, since neither of us have covered all of it, because it's a lot of news, plus we don't have a way, is we're just going to talk about just the overall impressions that we're getting coming out of this, from what we know of, some games that maybe caught our eye that we do know of. I may or may not use as an excuse to hype up Enfield again, because why not?
Yes, why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
And yeah, let's just kind of go on. So let's just start with the big topic of just one of the big highlights here. Wolverine. Wolverine is getting a video game. And Insomniac is making it, I believe. And it looks really freaking good, not gonna lie. Like, honestly, coming out of the whole business that is Spider-Man, Insomniac proved. Let me just check that it is Insomniac, because otherwise I feel like an idiot if I'm just keep mentioning them as the one who did it. And it turns out someone at the comments gonna be like, "You dumbass, Insomniac didn't make it."
You fool!
You fool. Let me just see here. Technical issues, please wait. Oh my goodness gracious. As I see this, no one's doing this. Sony Interactive. Insomniac. Okay, good. That took way longer than it should have to correct that. Okay, cool. So yeah, Insomniac proved that they could definitely make a hero game with Spider-Man. Like the original Spider-Man, I think it was just called The Amazing Spider-Man, just Spider-Man. They came out with, near the mid of the near the end of the PS4 era, I think, under the PS5. Might have been the PS5 game. It was a really good game. I played it to completion. Really good game. Played Miles Morales also to completion. Again, really good game. And Spider-Man 2. I have it. Never did got around to finish. It's one of those games that I just picked up, and for whatever reason, I just ended up putting it down. Got distracted and just never got back to picking it back up again. I'll have to complete it at some point. Really good game, though. I think, like I said, what really sold it is, especially with Spider-Man, Spider-Man is an interesting character to work with because he has his web slinging. That's his whole shtick, yeah? And you need to get it right. You need to get that web slinging right, or it just doesn't feel right. So having a kind of open world Spider-Man game where you swing around New York and do a bunch of crazy stuff and acrobatics, it feels really, really good. And like I said, it was definitely an interesting take because they had a Spider-Man which is a bit older. This is a Spider-Man originally that was, it's already been doing his thing for a while. It's not a retired Spider-Man, but it's definitely a Spider-Man who's been doing this for a while, right? He knows all his villains. He knows, who's who. So yeah, it was really fun. And they definitely proved, like I said, that they could do it because it was a really, really good game. So yeah, them being given the reins over Wolverine, I'm confident, honestly, for what we've seen, it is going to be way bloodier than anything Spider-Man did. Finally, we can actually unalive people intentionally, unlike back in the original Spider-Man, where we just hurled them off the side of buildings saying, did that kill him? Nope. Okay.
Did this guy wake up or no?
I mean, apparently it did not unalive them, despite literally having them fly into the side of fire hydrants at Mach 5, which apparently does not unalive them. I guess the crooks in New York are made of the same stuff the Kingpin's made out of, so I don't know. Maybe that's just a common trait among New Yorkers. I don't know. New Yorkers in the comments, are you all borderline indestructible? Please let me know in the comments. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like I said, a far more interesting take on that. So yeah, that's a thing that came out. That'll be 2026. I don't think we have a specific release date for it. Beyond that, I think it's early 2026, so we'll see. As everyone predicted, there was no talk of Marathon, obviously. That one's going to be the Bungie black sheep that I don't think we're going to be talking about for a long time, because I don't think even Bungie knows what to do at this point. But off that topic, let's just go and roll right along. So what else do we have on the docket? Yes, going over to Capcom, actually. There's a mobile version for Monster Hunter that's coming out. Monster Hunter Outcasts? Outliers? Outsiders. Yes, Outsiders, I think it's called. That's a thing. I'm honestly not sure where to go with this, honestly, because I just saw the trailer while I was running around online looking for stuff as, like, what came out. Like I said, just so much stuff came out that it's just hard to just get it all together. So while I was looking through, I'm like, oh, that's a thing.
That's fun.
And That's fun. And you know what? Honestly, this isn't actually a terrible idea, all things considered. Like, when you think about it, right? Like, me and Justin were talking before the show of, we have games like Diablo Immortal that came out many years ago to just abysmal praise, and rightfully so. The whole "do you guys not have phones" was received just so bloody well. But when it comes to... Sorry about that, you might have heard something on my end. I was messing with my phone to get the trailer for reference here on my end. Because I do not have multiple screens to work with, so I have to improvise. But, honestly, I don't think it'll be as abysmal when it comes to monetization when compared to something like Immortal. Don't get me wrong, we're definitely going to see it. Capcom's definitely one of those game studios that would monetize their games. If you play the console versions, you know that there's stuff in there. There's cosmetics and this and that. But the whole thing about Monster Hunter is that it's very much a game that, at its core, is you earn what you wear, what you earn. So I don't think there's as many ways to sell you an advantage as there would be in something like Diablo Immortal, where there's, marketplaces and this and that. Whole isn't. It's a mess. So while I am hesitant, to see where this goes, I'm confident that it might not be terrible. So yeah, that's interesting. And when it is coming out, let us see real quick, because like I said, sign up for closed beta. So they have not released a date yet, but you can sign up for closed beta at the moment. So yeah, Monster Hunter Outlanders. Interesting. On the topic of Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter Stories 3 is coming out. Monster Hunter Stories 3 is an interesting one. The Monster Hunter Stories in general is weird because it takes the Monster Hunter 4 and kind of flips it on its head. Usually we're used to fighting monsters and just, hunting and just gathering, literally, their parts in a very, very violent manner. But Monster Hunter Stories is a far more peaceful side to the whole thing. Like, it generally takes place with the idea of... It's in the same universe, mind you. It's in the same universe. But it's the idea that, there are people in the Monster Hunter universe, effectively, who, instead of hunting the monsters, effectively try to, I don't want to say befriend them, but almost domesticate them to a certain degree. And there are methods by which they can communicate and almost Pokemonize them, for lack of a better term. Like the original Monster Hunter had the idea that there was a village of individuals who could communicate and bond with certain monsters, and they had a giant Rathalos guarding them, and it kind of was almost like a deity for them. So, it makes sense, honestly. That's an interesting side to things. So instead of the idea of hunting monsters, you're befriending them, you're kind of solving issues, It's more of a narrative side to things instead of Monster Hunter, which is just progressively kill bigger and bigger things. So... Granted, Monster Hunter in itself, as far as the other games are concerned, like the mainline games, have been getting better in terms of narrative. Monster Hunter Wilds actually had a pretty decent narrative, not gonna lie. Ever since they started trying to go into the console space with, like, Monster Hunter World, they've really been trying to step up the narrative. Like, there's always been kind of a narrative in all Monster Hunter games, but let's be honest, it's always just devolved into unalive, bigger and bigger animals that look like they are dinosaurs on steroids. So, But they've been definitely trying with the newer games, and I think Monster Hunter Stories is kind of a reflection of the much more narrative side to the Monster Hunter world they're trying to mess with. So yeah. As for when that is coming out, let me just quickly scrub through this trailer because I haven't had a chance to look too much into it. March 13th, 2026. So another 2026 one. A lot of these are going to be 2026, honestly. Not surprising. Like the end of October is going to see a few releases. I can't remember off the top of my head what. Oh yeah, we're gonna see Outer Worlds come out. We're gonna see that new vampire game, which name I cannot remember. The Bloodlines one, Bloodlines 2 come out. I think a few others that I can't remember. But other than that, after the end of October, it looks like it's gonna be pretty dry up until next year, unless something surprises me. So, it'll be a bit of a leaner year leading out of the year. But you know what? Whatever. That's fair, but it looks like early 2026 is going to be just packed for the first few months, which is weird because everyone was desperately trying to maneuver around GTA 6.
And then Silksong.
Yeah, and then Silksong was more of a it's a thing, and no one was just
it's coming.
That sparked, not even just it's coming, it's here. And that sparked a whole mess of things where developers were like, they didn't give us enough time, and da-da-da-da-da. That's a whole video in and of itself we could go into of where we feel on the Silksong thing, there's people that are saying that it's priced too low and it'll wreck the indies studios. I don't. That one I genuinely do not understand. Like, I don't think them pricing it low will destroy the indie, sphere in terms of pricing range because, price your game at whatever the heck you think is appropriate. People will buy it if they think it's worth it. People are not cheap. Shocking, I know.
Funny.
The only time you're going to see a game genuinely, like the gaming sphere's price generally shift is when you start seeing a lot of game companies start moving in that direction, or a lot of games in general moving in that direction, kind of like what they're trying to do with the price hike. But until then, the margin's not going to shift too much. So like I said, if Silksong is just priced low, that's just them, like, honestly. As for the whole discussion of whether they should have given more leadway into their release, that's a whole other conversation. Like I said, that's a video and a half, but that's just my 2 cents for the sake of it. But yeah, Enfield is also a thing. Haha, see, I knew it. Yeah, I told you I'd sneak it in.
I told you that something would come up.
I told you I'd sneak it in somewhere. And we're finally getting more into that. Also, looks like it's going to be a 2026 thing. We got a new trailer out of it, by the looks of it, new prologue stuff. That looks interesting, like I said. Arknights was always weird because, like I said, started as a mobile game that was a tower defense game, which I really like tower defense, actually. It had a gacha system to it, because, let's be honest, all mobile games of that nature do these days. But in fairness, it was like 2016, something like that, 2018 when it came out, so, yeah. It had its time in the shine, kind of is somewhat dimmered out since then. Not dead, but it's dimmered out since then. But I still play it on and off, and I want to get back into it now that they changed phones, because, like I said, I like tower defense, and there's just not a lot of tower defense stuff out there that I know of, so. And Enfield is just full-on open-world Genshin style, but it definitely feels like that, where it's more base building, and it almost feels like what happens if some unholy alchemist took Genshin and Pow World and smashed them together, and we wind up with Enfield. Don't ask me how that makes sense, but that does seem to be the feel of it, where it's just open-world base builder with, like, mining and world, like, factory mechanics, and big, almost Bandai Namco style boss fights, so, or Dark Souls, I don't know. Get a good equivalent here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I am definitely probably going to play that at some point because I'm not against base building, legitimately. It looks cool. And like I said, I like the Arknights thing, so we'll see where that goes. This is also another 2026 one. Beta at the moment. I don't think we have a specific date for when that's coming out beyond 2026, presumably early, so kind of, wait and see. Let's see, what else can we go into now that we have time? Oh yeah, there's going to be a new, not new, another Yakuza game that seems to be getting remastered. I think it's Yakuza 3 this time, so Yakuza Kunai 3, I think it is. So the third Yakuza game is getting its facelift, and that looks nice, not going to lie. Honestly, the original Yakuza games are so fun. Honestly, they're such a weird and wacky. Just look at, like, Maxor's video when it comes to, like, him playing Yakuza. I think it was Maxor who played.
I think it was Maxor, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Maxor. He pretty much encapsulates the Yakuza games so well, where it's heartfelt one moment and just off the walls the next minute.
It's like one moment you're depressed and sad, next moment you're beating someone up. Then you're ending it off like with some weird silly thing going on, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, like that's the wonderful, beautiful thing about Yakuza. They can balance like genuine, serious moments that feel like genuinely like down to earth with moments that are just completely insane, kind of like the Japanese people in general. Like one minute you're having like a crime drama about like 2 billion yen going missing, and the criminal underworld mess that's causing, or like several billion yen going missing. And next you're having a fist fight with a bunch of guys in diapers in a small little room. Like, this is the off-the-walls nonsense we're getting into it. Like, it's weird. I tell you, it's weird. And it's funny. So yeah, it's good to see the third one getting its facelift. At least I think it's the third. It says Gideon 3, so I think it's the actual like third one in the series. It definitely looks like it has a more beat-up style, so yeah, it does look it. So we'll see. But yeah, like I said, it's nice to have that more traditional Yakuza style, especially since they've moved away to the more team-based style, which, don't get me wrong, it's good. I like that style. It's just I kind of miss the old style some days. We could just walk around like somewhere in Japan and just have that big energy snippet of I wish it would. Like, Guy walks up to you, cracks knuckles. All right, here we go.
You're not waking up tomorrow, bud.
You're gonna wake up. You're gonna not wake up tomorrow. So, you know, it's nice to have those moments of just walking down the streets of Japan and just being like, I wish somebody would right now, you know,
Somebody better.
and just complete nutness. So it's nice to see more of that coming in. But yeah, that's a thing. Again, 2026, I believe. Actually, let me see here. It's a trailer. I don't think we have a release date for this one. Probably 2025 though is my, or 2026 is my bet though. So I could be wrong on that one though. Like I said, a lot of this is 2026. Not really anything I've seen so far that's 2025. Whatever. Well, Ghost of Yokai is Yokai. Ugh. Ghost of Yotai is coming out, which is a follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. Kind of. It's a canonical sequel in a way that it's like several hundred years after the fact, so I'm not sure if that counts as a sequel. Well, it is a canonical sequel at that point, just not to the point where it makes any difference what happened in the last game. So yeah, that's coming out relatively soon. I think like next month or this month, something like that. So it's not going to be terribly, terribly dry, but still. But yeah, a lot of stuff's coming out, honestly. Looks really cool, honestly, the stuff that's coming out, honestly. It's interesting.
Is nice.
Hello!
Hello,
This is a genuine
sailor.
reaction. Honestly, this is a genuine, for those who are at home, that's a genuine live reaction from me, because I just saw something that I didn't expect to see, which is Mega Man Star Force Collection. Hello, that is interesting. For those who do not know, Mega Man Star Force is a interesting version of the Mega Man franchise that was on DS for a while, the Legacy Collection, and that was way back in like the DS era. Oh dear, like DS era, not even 3DS era, but like DS era. And honest to goodness, I loved those games growing up as a kid. I played them. I think I finished a few of them. Like, again, that was my childhood, man. So to see that coming back as a Legacy Collection is absolutely great, because I've always wanted to see that get done. Like, you know those games that you grew up and you're like, I wish that would come back at some point? Like, this game deserves to be remastered or remade. That's definitely on that list. So yeah, Legacy Collection. Not available this year as usual, 2026. Doesn't give a specific date. Nintendo Switch, obviously, that's where it started. Interestingly enough, it also mentions PS5, 4, Xbox, and Steam. So, for the first time ever, if you're on PlayStation or Xbox or even Steam, and you never played these games when they first came out in the DS era, you can just play them all in their, you know, their version on this Legacy Collection. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, they're a real sign of what they were at the time. I love them growing up. So, yeah, a bit of Mega Man history that I think got forgotten compared to the other stuff. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, a bunch of, honestly, big reveals are coming out of this. I could go on and on and on and probably still find more stuff to talk about. But yeah, I'll just leave it generally at that. Like, what's your story about this?
We
Justin?
will
What do you
be
think?
here forever. What's my
I
story
could-
on this?
Yeah, what's your thought about this?
Wolverine game. I'll be honest.
only game.
The moment I saw that game, I quite literally thought, "Oh my God, the Spider-Man crew are going and giving us literally what the other half of the gaming space want." So
They spent too much time seeing people yeet gangsters off the side of buildings and then just being like,
okay,
dead?
I know, the company quite literally, like the studio was quite literally like, all right, yes, we know what you're going for,
We get
throwing
it,
that
we get
that
it, fine.
like 10th guy off the side of like the top of the building at
Fine,
like
have-
the Empire State Building or whatever. Like, yes, I get it.
fine. You don't like playing Peter Parker and his morals. Here, have Logan and his, you know, amorality at best. Where you just mess
Does
somebody
not
up.
care.
You're just gonna mess somebody up.
Just be careful if you get Deadpool, because then that's it.
If Deadpool comes into the game somehow, all bets are off. All bets
That's
are
it.
off.
You're done. You already.
All
If you've
bets
ever
are off.
played a Deadpool game, you already know what you're in for.
Oh no, Deadpool will just hijack the whole flipping video game. He'll find a way. So yeah, honestly, like I said, we could go on and on and on, and there'd just be stuff to talk about. Like I said, I'm happy because, like I said, we're getting something I didn't even expect. The Legacy Collection. I never thought that would ever come out again. Like I said, some weird ones. Like I said, the Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Outlanders, yeah, which is a mobile version of Monster Hunter, which looks honestly not that bad. Looks like it actually looks pretty good, honestly, from what its test builds look like. Oh yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is a Final Fantasy crossover event going on, so if you want to ride a chocobo, go on ahead. Do that. You do that. So yeah, interesting stuff.
brother.
Like I said, I could go into some more stuff like Ananata, which is a anime-style game that apparently plays like GTA, but apparently better. I don't know. Anime GTA sounds like a terrible and wonderful idea at the same time, so we're just gonna leave it at that. But anyways, that's the video. Like I said, bunch of stuff's coming out. Honestly, I look at my TV and I see another bit of reference material I can make here. What the hell? I'll end off with this one. State of Play actually opened up with an interesting game that is in the vein of the same guys that made Returnal, actually, are making another game in that kind of bullet hell third-person style, which is, again, really interesting. First off, to see them continuing their work and trying to push bullet hell, not only into just the modern era, but out of the pixel world. Like, the last time we had a good bullet hell, it's always in a pixel format, like bullet hells. To see that we finally come to the point where graphics are strong enough to support, like, actual, like, 4K bullet hell and not burn your PC into the floor is nice. Because, honest to God, the idea of trying to run a bullet hell on, like, a Windows, I don't know, Windows 10, just,
Yes.
it feels like that would be a form of digital torture. Like, that feels like how you threaten your computer.
That's how
But,
someone doesn't wake up in the morning.
That's how you threaten your computer to work faster. I will play bullet hell on you. But honestly, like I said, the fact that we're seeing them continue their work, having much more in the way of third-person bullet hells that are just high-res graphic games, really cool. Returnal was this almost psychological horror game that played with really interesting, like, Cthulhu-looking creatures. This one, I can't remember what it's called. I'll scrub through the footage right now as I talk about it and see if I can get a name for it. But Somex, I think it's like that. It's a weird name. But you know what? It looks more like in the lines of like a technology-based world. So instead of like, an almost NASA-like explorer kind of in a Cthulhu-like environment of alien civilization and psychological horror, it looks more akin to like, almost more akin to Bullet Hells, where it's more like high-tech stuff and robots and stuff like that. And you got a burly dude. Though, interestingly enough, and again, I will end with this because I'm running out of time here. If you listen to the actual trailer, because they open up with this in the State of Play they did, if you listen to the sound cues in the actual gameplay footage, and you've played Returnal, you'll actually hear some of the same sound cues as they used in Returnal, like a mission ending and stuff like that. Like, if you played enough Returnal, you hear those sound cues and like, oh, that's from the menu, and oh, that's there, and oh, that's from a weapon, and da-da-da-da. Like, it's weird how they use some of these sound cues in different ways in the new game. So, again,
It is very notable.
Yeah, no concrete evidence if these games are like in the same universe or anything. They might just be completely different games that play the same and are just continuations of one's DNA, you could argue. But like I said, just as little callbacks of like, I know that noise, and it's nice. Like I said, this one, like I said, is much less psychological horror and more cyberpunk war. Not even cyberpunk, just like space, computer robot stuff. So a lot less psychological horror and more action. Which honestly feels better for a bullet hell, Returnal had a weird ending. Really good game if you like bullet hell, but really weird elements, not gonna lie. Like, got you thinking. This game is just, if it moves, shoot it. But anyways, I'm running out of time.
Hopefully you enjoyed.
I'm going to end it there. Like I said, a lot of stuff coming out. Honestly, just pick your points. Let me know down in the comment section what you like. Did you like Did you like Enfield? Did you like the Monster Hunter game? Are you interested in the Wolverine game? A lot of people probably are. Let me know in the comment section, what is your big surprise coming out of all this? Maybe it's something I haven't even heard yet, which is entirely possible, like I said. So, let us share the love and see what it is. And we'll see you all next week for possibly another exciting installment in the games industry. Who knows?
We'll see.
Have a good one, everybody.